Hey y'all, it's Lindsay and it's week 3 on a Wellness Wednesday for 2021. For the past couple of weeks, I have been doing this Wellness Wednesday series, trying to kickstart it back up on my channel, trying to actually be intentional with it, and I'm proud of myself for coming back for week number 3. In these videos, I generally like to talk about how the previous week has gone and what the scale actually showed after that week's worth of work, and let's just go ahead and get into it. This year, I am attempting to focus mostly on habits and trying to just be mindful and practice doing things that are good for me and that are not necessarily weight loss inducing, but are definitely healthful practices. So far, I have 4 things that I'm really focusing on. Number 1 being getting at least 64 ounces of water per day. Number 2 is reading for 15 minutes per day in a physical book, not just on like an e-reader or on my phone. Number 3 is 15 minutes of walking every single day. And number 4 is a 1-minute plank every single day. Most of those things I started back, I think it was about December 28th, because that was a Monday, I believe. Memory, hard, struggle. Okay. So those are the 4 not goals. Nope, they're not goals. They're habits. Goals have an endpoint. Habits are continuous, right? Ad nauseum, right? This past week has actually not been my best week. I failed at getting 64 ounces of water every single day. I think I did it 2 out of the past 7 days, which is pretty pitiful. And I'm not including things like bubbly in that particular ounce count. I think the carbonated water, I like to keep that separate in my mind. Otherwise, I would go through and drink an 8-pack of bubbly every single day, and that's not financially viable, nor do I think it's a healthful practice, so I don't count bubbly in my water consumption. So I generally drink 2 quart-sized jars. It's actually slightly less than a quart, so I have to drink 2 plus a little bit more in order to hit that 64 ounce mark. For the first part of the year, I had been going really strong with that, and this week I just kind of fell off the bandwagon. It'll be all right. We'll get back on.
I feel like that tub thumping song from Chumbawamba. But things are not okay.
Okay, so failed at my first habit. Go figure. Second habit was reading for 15 minutes every single day, and I failed at that too. I think I did it 4 days for a solid 15 minutes. I picked up my book 6 days this week, but I didn't get a full 15 minutes 2 of those times, which is a little bit irritating because it means that I'm not progressing as quickly through that book as I would like to and as I purpose to. And you know, what are you going to do? Children wake up, you get distracted, you have other pressing needs. So I failed on that one. 15 minutes of walking per day. Major fail on this one. I did it one time this week, which is really pathetic. It's pathetic because there have been numerous times when I've had the opportunity to just stand up and walk in place. But this past week, I have been a little bit more tired than normal. I've been going to bed a little bit later than normal. We have had FaceTime calls with friends in the evenings that go on for a little bit longer than we usually talk. So it's one of those things where we're getting our emotional, relational fill accomplished and connecting well with our friends, but that means we're sacrificing sleep on the back end. And I tell you what, the morning after that FaceTime call, it was real hard to get up. My husband, Jared, he did not. He did not. I can't stay in bed if I know that if it's morning time, I know I'm like, I gotta get up, I gotta get moving. Even if I'm tired, I don't have that ability to sleep in on a regular basis. It's just something in my brain. I just don't do that well at all. So, you know, we had gone to bed around midnight, which is really late for us. We are definitely in the camp of go to bed around 10 p.m., wake up. I wake up at 5:30. Husband, Jared, wakes up usually between 5:30 and 6:30. So we really like that schedule. That works really nicely for us. And for me, that's really easy and really natural. So going to bed at midnight and then getting up at 5:30 was a bit of a struggle, and I kind of dragged throughout the day. I'm sure doing a walking video would have helped me tremendously, but yeah, that's not what actually happened. And I don't want to talk about what could have been when we can't go back to the past, so it's fine. And then my last goal was doing 1-minute plank every single day. Y'all, this week I did exactly 0 planks. I kind of got it in my head that I was separating my muscles down in here, and that I was causing more damage than good. And so then I used that excuse to not do planks anymore. And I feel like I was actually using good form, and I was not splitting out my muscles the way that I thought I was. So I think I'm going to get back on the bandwagon, because that's what you do. If you fall, you stand up again. You're not just going to lay there and rot, right? So this week, all 4 habits, none of them were successful, but that doesn't deter me. I'm going to keep moving forward, and that's all I can do. I did do, where did my measuring tape go? I did take measurements, and the one measurement that was most significant in change was my waist measurement, and I measure right here at my belly button. And my waist measurement went down by 1/2 inch, which makes me extremely thrilled. I want to keep my waist as small as I can, because that is a good indicator, according to current medical science, of heart health. And they suggest or recommend that a female's waist stay smaller than 35 inches. I would like to get well below that. If I could get down to like 32-inch waist, I would be thrilled, because that makes me feel like I'm doing something proactive for my heart health, aside from just like walking and a healthful diet and that sort of thing. My father has had heart surgery in the past, and I don't know if it's genetic or not. And I would really like to prevent anything that I can prevent, and roll with the punches on things that I can't. Obviously, diet and exercise are 2 factors that I have complete control over. So I want to do as much as I possibly can to reduce the risk factors there. So there is that. So then the scale. I have a handy dandy app on my phone for my scale. I can't actually get this scale anymore. It's no longer available. I bought it on Amazon. Gosh, must have been 3 or 4 years ago. Question mark. But it's so handy having the app. It has like a graph function, and I don't want to delete all, that would be bad. And this week I weighed in at 155.2, which is fantastic. Do you know what this means? This means that I was down 1 pound. What was last time? Let me look at this as a list. I'm down 1.2 pounds. So I am so impressed with that. I am very excited about that. I don't necessarily feel toned for this past week, because I wasn't exercising at all. I wasn't being intentional with my movement at all. I was really struggling on that front. However, my diet, my food consumption was 100% on the low carb keto spectrum. Everything I ate was really low in carbs. I don't feel like I overate any one particular day. I wasn't quite as hungry. I wasn't quite as motivated to produce fresh, new food, fun, exciting food. I was willing to just eat kind of like what we had in leftovers, or, just kind of keep it low key. A lot of eggs, a lot of cabbage, and we bought wings at a place that we really love that does just fried wings that are not breaded, not nothing, and you can get some dry rubs on there that are so good. So we have been eating wing leftovers for the past couple days, and that has really limited the number of carbs that I've consumed. I mean, obviously, wings do have some carbs depending on your rubs, your sauces, and then the actual chicken wing itself does have a few carbs, depending on the quantity you consume. But I stayed within a pretty reasonable amount, usually about 6 wings whenever I would eat them. So I can't help but feel like my food choices, while they were very, very uninteresting, they were good for my weight this week. So I'm a little bit pumped about that. However, I will say this caveat: I would much rather get all of my 4 habits achieved and be successful in my 4 habits. I would rather that be the reality and less weight loss or no weight loss on the scale than what I had this week, because this is not a healthful progression into doing life well and being showing up for me and showing up for my family. So Okay, I have waxed on poetic for entirely too long, in my opinion. That is all that I have to share with you today. Clearly, it's just a baseline Wellness Wednesday check-in. Here's our checkpoint. We can keep moving forward and be much more mindful about my habits. If you are new around here and you found value in this video, I would love for you to poke around my channel and subscribe if you find content that you connect with. If you are already a subscriber and watching this, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate the time that you spend watching my video and connecting here. Also, if you liked this content, I would love a thumbs up. And if you disliked this content, I would love a thumbs down so I know which direction to go with that. I also would love to know if you have set up some habits for yourself this year instead of goals, and how well did you do on your habits this past week? I think that being mindful of those habits is a really good practice, and I am obviously still practicing it. I have not mastered it at all. With all of that, I hope to see you in my next video.